Hey everyone, it's Anna, and I'm back with another vintage cookbook. This time I'm reviewing the Nancy Drew Cookbook. This book was originally published in 1973. This happens to be a reprint from 2005. Nancy Drew is a girl detective. Her character was introduced, I think, all the way back in the 1930s as sort of the answer to the Hardy Boys. The books have been around for many, many years. They're well loved. The series itself has been rebooted several times as well. There have been TV series. I think maybe there was even an animated series. There have been movies. Nancy Drew is a very, very popular character. I myself used to read the old school hardback versions, the yellow books. I don't really, to be honest, remember a lot about them. I seem to remember the writing style being very descriptive when it came to like appearances. I don't know if that was because this was sort of geared toward girls, perhaps. Yeah, I remember them describing the color of Nancy's hair, and she had a best friend, but I seem to remember they described the best friend as being plump, which was that's not really necessary. But anyway, Nancy lived with her father. I think maybe her mother died when she was little or something, and that they had a full-time housekeeper. The full-time housekeeper was the one doing the cooking. I don't know, this should be the full-time housekeeper's cookbook, not the Nancy Drew cookbook. I don't think Nancy was doing much of the cooking, if I remember correctly. The book opens with a whole list of like kitchen tips. They call it to clue you in, just to stay true to the mystery theme of this book. It's your standard stuff. Get an adult's permission before you use the stove. Check that you have all of the necessary ingredients. My favorite is number 4. It says, unless you are an expert, follow the recipes exactly. I'm no expert, so I guess I should be following the recipes in this book exactly. When I first saw this cookbook, I knew it was a reprint. It's pretty obvious, but I thought that the original version was published much earlier than the 70s. I'm not sure why, it just kind of makes me think that. But now that I look back through the illustrations, you know, they are pretty groovy. We've got this like very groovy line drawing with jam and milk, and I think that's a coffee percolator. Whole barbecue grill set up. Got another illustration for the dessert section that's very cute. It's very chaotic and busy, and I love that style in cookbooks sometimes. There's a whole kitchen mystery story in here, and to sum it up, someone accidentally bakes a diamond ring in a muffin, and Nancy finds it. She solves the mystery of the diamond ring in the muffin, and then she has to bake another batch of muffins for this person. A lot of the recipe names have either like mystery type words, or they're named after some of the books or some of the characters. Old Stagecoach sausage loaf. I think there's probably some book that's like the mystery of the old stagecoach. Oh, I really liked the name of this one. It's kind of hard to say. Sleuth soup. It's kind of like just a tomato soup with some beef bouillon and heavy cream. It sounds delicious. Sleuth soup makes it sound even better though. The case of the smothered pork chops. They're just smothered pork chops. So this one is a little strange to me. I'm not sure if it's something that's completely normal and I'm just out of the loop. Phantom eggs. For phantom eggs, you take 5 eggs, you boil them, you slice them, then you put them in a casserole dish, you cover them in undiluted tomato soup, sprinkle with buttered breadcrumbs, and then you bake. I don't know, that just sounds kind of incomplete to me. Is this something that you've had? Is this something that's very common? This seems to happen to me sometimes where I see a dish, I think it's unusual, and it's really completely like, oh yeah, everybody knows about that. So let me know in the comments down below. There's also a recipe for detective burgers. If you read through, it's really just a recipe for sloppy joes, but detective burger sounds a lot better. Redgate Farm meatballs. And guess what? It's our old friend, porcupine meatballs. I'm telling you, this recipe is in every single vintage cookbook that I find. Mysterious letter chili. It's just chili. Black key patties. So it kind of starts off pretty standard. It looks like it's just like a grilled hamburger, but then you make this relish question mark that you put on top. I'm not really sure what you'd call this. The topping consists of pepper, stuffed green olives, sliced celery, whole cranberry sauce, lemon juice, and chopped onions. So you're supposed to grill the burgers and then you're supposed to heat the mixture of those things that I just mentioned and then heap it on the burgers. Like none of those things in my mind go together. I like a lot of them, celery aside, but I'm really having trouble imagining what this is like. So in the dessert chapter, there is a recipe called Dancing Puppet Parfait. But there's a really specific ingredient, 27 large marshmallows. Just seems like a very strange number. You know, why not 30 large marshmallows or 25 large? It's just 27 is just a weird number to me. There is one recipe in this book that I really like and I have used over and over again. Mrs. Fane's Famous Rice. It's really just kind of a rice pilaf with like chicken broth, and then you put onions and peppers in. Sometimes I like to add mushrooms. I used to make it a lot with shish kebabs, like, you know, grilled meats and vegetables. Anything grilled. It goes great with pretty much anything grilled. So there's an entire section of holiday recipes in here, and that's where today's recipe comes from. It is in the Thanksgiving section. Today I'm going to be preparing Effie's pumpkin soup. So I wanted to continue my vintage Thanksgiving theme. My family never ate soup at Thanksgiving that I can recall. It seems to be a little bit sweet, a little bit savory, and you are supposed to chill it for about an hour before you eat it. I just wanted to try something different. This could also be great for a Friendsgiving celebration. I feel like Friendsgiving is where you can try new recipes and get really adventurous. Regular holidays tend to have their traditional dishes, like this person always makes the bread, this person always makes the corn, like that kind of thing, where whenever I've been to a Friendsgiving celebration, I like to do different things and really try some things out. I don't know how to transition this. Let's get started. In order to make Effie's pumpkin soup, you are going to need 1 cup of cooked rice, 3/4 of a cup of half and half, 1/2 of a cup of canned pumpkin, 2 cups of chicken broth, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of sugar. Gonna pull out the blender for this one. It says cook the rice as directed on the package and let it cool, which I've already done. Place rice in the blender with 1/2 cup of half and half. So I have 3/4 of a cup in here, and I didn't know that I only needed to start with 1/2 cup. All right, that seems right. Blend at low speed until the mixture is smooth. I think it's smooth. Add the rest of the half and half. Don't know why we didn't just add all of it, so I'm adding that. So we only need 1/2 cup of this. They don't make pumpkin, or I haven't found pumpkin in smaller cans. Sometimes I wish they'd do that. We have our 1/2 cup of pumpkin going in the blender. Cold chicken broth. A little surprised that this is a chilled soup with chicken broth in it. We'll see what we end up with. So I need 2 cups of chicken broth in the blender. 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Ooh, that's going everywhere that I don't want it to. 2 teaspoons of lemon juice and 2 tablespoons of sugar. So that is every ingredient that we have. I'm gonna blend again. It seems really thin. When I think pumpkin soup or like butternut squash soup, it's like thick and velvety. This is very thin. Scrape that and see if maybe it didn't get some of the pumpkin. No, it definitely did. Okay, well, I guess this is what it's supposed to look like, but it looks like melted ice cream, maybe not even that thick. It's very watery. I'm gonna let this chill for a little while and then we'll give it a taste. Chilling did not help this very much. It's still so liquidy, way thinner than any kind of like pumpkin or gourd kind of soup that I have ever had. I thought for sure something magic would happen in the fridge, but it didn't. Maybe if you use heavy cream? I'm just kind of stalling because I don't really know if I want to taste this, but I think I better because that's what this video is about. Here we go. I do not like that. I do not like that. Effie, I'm not sure who you are, what character you are in this book, but you can keep your pumpkin soup because nobody is going to like this. It's not the absolute worst thing I've ever tasted, but it's not high on the list of things that taste delicious. Is this a real recipe, and did I do something wrong? I honestly don't even know if serving this hot would help it. I'm gonna microwave it. Let me microwave this and see if it's any better. You're not going to make any friends, and your family will be talking about you behind your back if you bring this soup to Thanksgiving. Okay, I'm gonna try it warm and see if that's any better. It is not. That is such a weird texture. I think the rice was meant to thicken it up, but it really didn't do anything. I don't know what it needs. It needs to be thicker, for one. It needs to decide, if it's gonna be a chilled soup, it needs to decide if it is sweet or if it is savory, because it's sort of unclear and ambiguous and in the middle, because there's like the salty chicken broth, but then you put 2 tablespoons of sugar in it. I'm never gonna make this again. I don't think this is good. I would not advise that you make this. While I tried Effie's pumpkin soup, did not go well. I mean, I think it went fine. It just doesn't taste good. And I don't think that's my fault. Don't make this. There are so many other great pumpkin soup recipes out there. This is not one of them. I cooked a recipe from the Nancy Drew Cookbook. Thank you so much for taking the time every week to come back and watch my videos. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. If you like this video, you might like my other videos, and you might consider subscribing to my channel. I post content similar to this just about every week. If you'd like to see what else I'm up to, you can visit me on Instagram. My handle is _cookingthebooks_. Thanks again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.